right. Let's see if this will work. Oh, kitty, what you doing? You can come back over here if you want. I'm sure everyone would love to see you. Well, even though no one's here yet, I don't think. Yeah, no one's here yet. This is my first time doing this, so not really sure how it's gonna go or what to expect. Just like everything else, I'm being curious about it. And I almost feel more comfortable getting used to this without a bunch of people. Oh, my sweatshirt's dirty. This is my grubby sweaty that I wear out and about. Let's see. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. What's this button do? Oh, don't need that. I'm not going to retouch. What's that button do? Highlight. I don't know what that means still. But anyways, I'm here. I thought it'd be fun to talk about creativity and the journey of creativity, especially maybe after 40 or 50, and how that all changes, you know, throughout your life. And I feel the most creative I've ever felt in my 57 years. Right now, like, you know, this time in my life is like feeling the most creative. And I was thinking why that is. And I think it's because, well, it's because of a lot of reasons. But I think one of the big reasons is that I made room in my life, in my brain, in my being for creativity. I made it important. And I made the decision at the right time, even though if I look back on it, I wish I would have done it sooner. But I am glad that I made the decision to pursue creativity over everything else. And one of the books that really helped me was Steal Like an Artist, this book. And it says right under there, 10 things nobody told you about being creative. And it's a short little book with cool little drawings. Austin is a guy that says he is a writer who draws. And the second book, called Show Your Work, which I don't have right now because I lent it to a friend, is even more the reason why I'm here on YouTube now. Because it took away the animosity, it took away the fear, it took away the, I don't know, all the blocks that were keeping me from doing anything on YouTube and possibly even doing anything creative. So, yeah, that's an important book in my life that I'll always remember, and I'll keep reading over and over again because it helps. It really helps. Yeah. So it feels very funny to be on here with not very many people here, but that's okay. I just don't know if you're here and you want to say hi, please do so. I'm still figuring this out, much like I do on the fly. I did do some reading. Hi, Wildflower. I did do some reading earlier on going live, and you know, it's a bunch of stuff. Hi, Violet. And I'm so glad you guys are here. I you know, like everything, I just wanted to jump in, but I thought, well, I should probably read about how to do it. Hey, Yvonne, welcome. Hope you guys got a cuppa or a drink. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Because it's my first live, I didn't really make a topic except to talk about creativity in general. Your sketchbooks inspired me to make my own. That is such an amazing, I don't want to get emotional, but I'm really touched by that. I'm really happy that that happened because that means a lot to me. I'm so glad that you're making sketchbooks, and I hope you're having a lot of fun doing it. I wish there was like interactions here where you could send me a picture or show me your sketchbooks. That would be cool. But yeah, I have my little sketchbook here. I haven't drawn any yet. Nat and Cat. This is just a dedicated Nat and Cat sketchbook. So my husband and I were talking about another character thing today that I've had in mind for a long time, and he's like, "Ooh, you could do it in your new sketchbook." I'm like, "Nope, my new sketchbook is for Nat and Cat only." So what are you gonna do with your sketchbooks? Are you gonna designate them like individually for different things, or are you gonna sell them? Let me know what you're gonna do with your sketchbooks. That'd be awesome to know. I am going. I'm gonna decorate the outside of the sketchbook. I am, like, I initially just wrote Nat and Cat on there, and I love the little like label and everything about this. So I'm not really sure. I was kind of thinking like a Sharpie tattoo kind of art maybe, so I can keep these cool little QR codes and stuff and barcodes. I don't know, I just like it being the way that it is, but I also, you know, have some cool paints, of course, and things that I can mess with it. But that's kind of like a thought I had, but maybe not so much on this book. Maybe I'll just do line art on this book. But I'm definitely going to make more books because I have other, you know, I have categories of things I want to draw now. So let's see. I'm going to use mine to paint whatever I'm afraid to put on expensive paper. That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a really good idea. It's my Be Wild on Good Paper book. I love that. I just watched a video. I think she did it for a fundraiser, but this creator set out like on this big table. I only have a little table here, but she set out like maybe on a 6-foot table, workbench, all these pieces of paper, and then she taped them all down with painter's tape, and then she went over, like in an assembly line, she went over all the bottoms, all green. Let me know if you've seen this video. Maybe we'll do a mini version of it. But she set out all these papers and put them on a grid and then taped them all down. And then she went on the bottom all green. And then she did like a different color in the middle and then a different color at the top. And, you know, it's a short little reel or whatever. And then when she's done, she has like 50 paintings that she hand signed for a fundraiser or something. And I'm like, wow, that's a really cool idea. They were landscapes. They all had green at the bottom and then like a mountain in the back and then like a orangey sunsetty sky in the back of that. But I had never seen anything like that before. I thought that was pretty amazing. But yeah, let me know what you guys are creating. What are you guys working on? So some of you are making books. What else are you guys doing? I don't know. Also, let me know if you're having a cup of tea and I can cheers you. Let's see, Violet says, I've made a sketchbook out of an old used hardcover book, rip out the book pages and sewn in your own signatures. I really like that idea. My husband was talking to me about repurposing old books in that way. So you can actually, I'm wondering how you sew into a hardcover. So I don't know how you do that. Hey, Shaw, thank you. Yeah, Shaw came by the other day and I guess I was recording my sketchbook video. So I'm sorry I missed you. But I appreciate you watching and hanging in there. And Shaw is a really good creator, a really neat creator, does a lot of cool things to drill holes. Oh, yeah. That makes sense. With like a power drill. Okay, an accordion style signature insertion. I'll have to Google that. I'm very new at the bookbinding. I could tell you a story about that if you want. But it was a catalyst in my creativity, jumping from like almost nothing to creating every day. But yeah, drilling holes, I love a good, I love using a power drill, so that's right up my alley. Yeah, well, I'll just start telling you the story about the bookbinding thing. Okay, I will. So, ever since I was a young girl, I wanted to illustrate kids' books. I don't know why. It just was always in my mind, like, I wanted to do that, and I never did it. Until I was a young adult, I had this opportunity to illustrate a kid's book that was going to be like, what she was going to do with it was go make copies and then like make her books herself at Office Depot or something. And so that was like the only kids book I ever illustrated as, that got distributed in a little small circle of people. And, but I always had in my mind, like, I just want to illustrate kids books. So, in just a year ago now, January 19th, I decided to quit working online and quit working behind the computer, doing digital marketing and graphic design for 30 years. And I was beyond burnt out and beyond unhappy. And so I quit that like instantly. I didn't even, I gave it 2 weeks to my partners that I was working with, but I couldn't do it anymore. And so last year, I just took the year off to figure out. I don't even know if I did it to figure out anything out. I just needed time off. I just needed time to heal and work on myself. And we're in the forest right now, and it's been very therapeutic for that. So trying to make it a maybe more condensed version is I would doodle and sketch every now and then last year. I didn't do a lot of creating. I just did a lot of being. But I think it was the best thing. I read this book, I don't know, 2 or 3 more times, and then I read Show Your Work probably 2 or 3 more times. And then the storm happened here in Asheville. It was a tropical storm, Helene, and then it became a hurricane. And my husband and I have a short school bus. We live in a larger school bus. It's like 32 feet. And we have we had a little truck that we used to run around to town so that we wouldn't have to drive this vehicle every time we needed to go to the store or whatever. And so we had a little runaround truck that we had bought, and I had an idea one day. Why don't we trade this or sell this and get a short school bus and make that a mobile studio and a gallery, and it could be our little one-round vehicle too, and it could be a little camper too. And so that's what we did. We traded the truck for the schoolie, and I couldn't believe it really happened. And because those Facebook Marketplace things, they don't always work out so well. But we did. It worked out. And so we have a short school bus that is sitting outside here waiting for some love on the maintenance side, and it has the subfloor in, which, if you don't know what that means, it's like we took everything out, we took all the seats out, and then we put insulation in the bottom of the floor, on top of the floor, and then we put wood on top of that, so it's ready for flooring. And I want to make a mobile gallery / studio out of it. So the hurricane happened. We had to evacuate this campground, and like 3 days, I had no idea what was going on in Asheville or anything with the storm. We lost all connectivity, and when we got back online, the devastation really hit hard. And I am an empath, and I absorbed a lot of the energy in the area, and I was kind of depressed. And like, this is 3 days later after all of this happened. My friend from 47 years, so we've been friends since I think 10 years old, She has been to Scotland a couple times, and she goes every year. And she messaged me and she said, "Hey, I want to go to Scotland in November. I've never been in that time of year, and I'd love to take you." And if you remember, I'm like depressed at this time, and I'm like, "Honey," I'm telling my husband, Mindy just asked me to go to Scotland with her, and basically her treat, and I want to, but I feel like so yucky right now, and he's like, "Well, you got to go." I'm like, "I know. I wasn't excited." All that to say, I wasn't very excited internally yet, and it was about 6 weeks away. So as time went on, we talked about Scotland in the chat and everything, and I had said yes, I'd love to go. And she started saying, "Well, why don't you pick out some things that you want to do there? Because I've been a lot and you have never been. And so, of course, we're going to go exploring." And she's really into like metal detecting and finding old cool things near ruins and stuff. So that was going to be something we both did, which I was excited about. And so I went to Instagram because I didn't know how to find things that I wanted to do in Scotland. So I went to Instagram and I started following some Scotland accounts, and there was this cool little bookstore called the Wheel of Fate in Edinburgh. And we were going to be in Edinburgh around that area for 2 nights. And so this little bookshop had a workshop on bookbinding. And I don't know if the book's up here. It is. So I sent her the thing. I'm like, "I'd love to go learn this bookbinding because in my mind, it's like, I want to illustrate kids' books, but I also want to just illustrate, and I also want to paint. I also want to build things. Like I want to be creative in all the ways. I don't want to like limit myself in illustrating kids' books. But one of the things that really got me excited was to bind a book. And so she said, "See, am I back? Am I connected? Hopefully I'm connected. You have to let me know if I'm connected. You guys see me? Okay. So yeah, we did this book. I did this book. She did a different book. And I made this book to document my family history for my kids. So I have 6 kids, and I etched a tree for each kid. And I'm really into the moon and ravens and stuff like that, the forest in general. And so I thought that was a cool, like, what do you call it? Symbolism for my kids. And yeah, so I'm going to fill this book with family history and stories to leave my kids. And this is the first book I ever made. And she taught the technique that I learned and that I've been sharing here on the channel. And so this was the first book, and my watercolor book was the second book. And then I decided to try the wax cord on this third book here. Oh no, my friend's book was the second book. So I've made 4 books now. So it's very new to me, and I really love it. And I'm looking forward to doing more. I've seen some cool like pop-out books. I'd love to make some of those for my grandkids, where you open it and then you can open it again, and then you can see like a 3D picture, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure there's a technical term for it, but I have my eye on learning to do that as well. But yeah, the channel is going to be about, or is about, all things creative. Okay, cool. That's awesome, Shaw. Yeah, tunnel books. I think that might be what they're called, when you can like open it up and then you can pull it down, and then it's like, dimensions of pictures. But yeah, so I'm excited about doing that. And even though I'm going to create a lot of things here, I think books will be, and different types of books will be, an overall, thing I do. So because I love it so much, and it falls in line. Like, I have grandkids now, and I'd love to be able to, I have some stories already that I've written that I'd love to be able to, just for them, to like hand illustrate a one-off kids book that's for my grandkids. And then, you know, maybe do some prototypes for actual published illustrations, actual published books. Yeah, so it's exciting and fun. Yeah, so that's where that's at. And, you know, you guys will have to let me know if I hope you're interested in other types of art, because I am, and I will be sharing all kinds. My husband was like, you really need to show him your welding. I will show you my welding. But a little teaser there is when I quit the computer work, we had envisioned building railing on our deck. We wanted to make a deck extension on the back of the bus, and we envisioned doing some railing. Ooh, watercolor is nice. I love watercolor. I haven't got to play with it as much as I want to. It's amazing how, even if you're like able to create full time, it's amazing how much time, you know, goes by and you don't do all of the things you think that you think you can or want to do. But yeah, so I will show you my welding. It's the first and only welding I've ever done, and I did it last year. But it's an artistic piece on the back of our bus. And then this bus in general, I created and built. Yeah, so it's a lot of creativity, and this is the first time in my life that I feel curious and not afraid to try things and not worried that it's not good enough. I think that's been a thing over my whole life. Maybe you can relate, where, you know, yeah, I like to draw, but it's not very good, or, you know, I really want to paint, but I know I can't be as good as so-and-so is, or, you know, and then you get on the social media and you see all of the beautiful creations and it makes it even worse sometimes. So that's why I was saying, like, I don't like to research and find out what other people have done as much, because it can really trigger the imposter syndrome that we are all working so hard to not have. And so comparing ourselves to others, or, you know, not practicing like this live, you know, this is a totally practice, because I don't know. I've done live on Facebooks before, and Instagrams. Wow, pluralizing those channels, but I'm kind of thinking about phasing those out. So I might not be there, but I'll be here for sure. Thank you. They're readers. I need them to see everything on my phone. And when I do artwork, so they're not prescription. Oops, just dropped my tea label in my bag, in my tea. But I have 3 pairs because I lose them a lot and break them a lot. So I have a clear pair, a black pair, and I did break the tortoise pair that I was wearing. Artwork, what kind of artwork? Lots of different kinds. That's what I was just talking about. You know, when someone says, what kind of artwork do you do? I say all kinds, because I don't know how to answer that, because I feel like I'm just getting started, even though I've done art my entire life. I'm now at the place of like, wow, I can be creative and I can decide what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to be like making something for someone else. I'm making it for the joy of making it right now. And so I'm experimenting with watercolor. I'm experimenting with these Inktense blocks that I really liked. I used these the other day. I'm experimenting with, you know, crafting, making things out of leather. One of my newest additions is this little packet of water brushes, because they came with my watercolor kit. I live tiny, so everything's tiny. This is my watercolor kit that I have, and the palette is basically in here. It's from Koi. And it came with this watercolor brush. So you can kind of do it on the go, and you don't have to have like all the jars of water and everything. So that really helped because I do live tiny. The bad thing is this brush sat so long with me not using it that it's stuck. Like I can't put more water in this brush. So it's stuck forever the way that it is right now. So I just bought a 3-pack of different size brushes. So that'll be fun because this one is just a certain regular pointed brush. And then the other day I made a license plate for a friend using acrylic markers. That was fun. So kind of all kinds of art is what I like. Twist it the other way. I've tried that. I've tried all the things. Like, oh, of course, now that I'm on live, it worked. Thanks, Wildflower. Wow. It's okay. I'm not mad that I ordered new brushes. How could I be mad about that? But that's brilliant. Twist it the other way. I love it. It says push right here, which I've tried doing that, you know, and I was like fighting with it, and I probably was just tightening it. So, okay. Awesome. I'm glad I did this because I can use that brush now. But yeah. So yeah, I think the mantra for me is just playing and having fun and not taking myself too seriously. So thank you. Yeah, the ceiling is something I made. This is our third DIY tiny home build. I guess those are the right assemblage of words. Our second schoolie build and our third vehicle build. And we've always done a fiber optic ceiling. So yeah, I made that. So that's a 1/4-inch piece of plywood that you can get at Home Depot. And then I kind of like freehand drew a moon on it. And I painted the side silver and then pre-drilled 400 something holes with a tiny little 1/16 drill bit. And then my husband and I fed the fiber optics all in the holes. And it's just kind of meant to look like a galaxy kind of thing, which we kind of did in the van. And then the first school bus, we did like random, like they were all over the ceiling for like 5 feet by 8 feet. And they were all really random. This was more of a after, so we didn't put them in the ceiling. We built this moon and then attached it to the ceiling. But it makes a really nice calming. I don't like a lot of bright light, so it's a very subtle, nice ambient lighting that can be changed. So we can change the colors on there and make them whatever color we're feeling. So, but yeah, I am loving building things. I made these window boxes, you know, I mean, we built the whole bus. So there's the kitchen over there. And there's a never-ending list of projects to do here on the bus, which I don't mind at all because I love doing it. Well, thank you. I love making stuff with my hands. And so that's what I was going to say is last year when I kind of took all that time off, one of my friends had a little short schoolie. I'll get to that story in a minute. I'll tell you about that. But yeah, she has a little short school bus that's like 5 windows, and she needed some help building things out. So last April, I jumped in and built out her bus for her, and that consumed a lot of my creativity happily for 5 or 6 months, and I did that as an outlet for being creative. And she has a Starry Night ceiling, I call it, as well, that I did for her, I think, in 2021. So in 2021, I was going to sell these online, but smaller. And I was going to make them and, a certain size for people to put in their RVs or their tiny homes. And I went down that whole rabbit hole. I branded it and got the website up and had a mentor and everything. And the more we got into it, the less fun it was. So that's kind of been like, if it's not fun and I don't enjoy it, I don't want to do it. And I had already been doing a lot of stuff I didn't want to do, so I didn't want to add a new thing. But I love making the Starry Night ceilings for pleasure, for enjoyment, for creativity's purposes. You know, if you were here and you wanted one, we'd have to barter it out or something, because I just, it takes kind of, this particular thing is hard to manufacture in a, like a, what do you call it? Assembly line way or something. So it's very, you know, unique, and it's hard to charge what really should be charged for it because of the time it takes and all of that. Anyways, it wasn't for me, but if you want to do it, you should totally do it, because it would be awesome to see out there. Burnside Art, it's, yeah, welcome Molly. Hi, yeah, welcome everybody. This is exciting because I didn't know what would happen. But, you know, when you watch a YouTube video about going live and, you know, it talks about getting people to be on there, I was like, ugh, I don't think I could do that right now. But I just threw it up on a post and hoped that maybe I would catch up some people, because I wanted to see how this was and if it was something that I enjoyed. And so far I'm loving it, and you guys are a big part of that. So I appreciate that. But yeah, so I don't know, any other thoughts or questions you guys have? I gulped my tea just now because it's not hot. And I'm like, I have to drink it now because it's not getting, the heat is going away, and I only like it when it's hot. So it's like, gulp, gulp, gulp. How long have I been doing? All my life I have done art, but I will say not for myself. So I haven't done art for myself since I was a child. And when I was learning, you know how old you are when you tell your parents what you want to be when you grow up? I don't know what age that is, but when I said that to my mom, well, actually my mom said, what do I want to be when I grow up? And I said, I want to be an artist. And she said, oh, honey, you know, I love that, and you're so creative, but you need to think of something else, because you can't make any money as an artist. And I believed her. So I went to school for graphic design after I changed my major from education, because I realized I didn't like being a teacher as far as like a full-time job. So I changed my major from education to graphic design, and I got my graphic design degree. It took me 9 years to get a 2-year associate's degree, because I got pregnant and had babies and all of that fun stuff. And so I immediately started working for companies and other people, and every now and then I would get to paint a mural, or I would do something fun for myself, but it wasn't regular and it wasn't very often. And so when you say how long have you been doing art, it's very, my overthinking brain can't really answer specifically, because I haven't felt like I've done art for very long in the way that I want to. And that's what I'm starting now, is to create from within, like from curiosity and just the passion of making something. And so yeah, so I'm gonna say I restarted doing art a year ago. And then and more recently, since November, when I decided, okay, so Scotland, tying us back, if you're new, I told a Scotland story that got me started bookbinding with this book. And so in Scotland, I came back from Scotland like changed somehow. I still haven't been able to define it. It was very magical being there. A lot of my ancestry is there, and I didn't really even know that till probably a couple weeks before I was asked to go. And I came back totally motivated to make art and do my YouTube channel. And in the past, when I've thought about doing YouTube, it's been scary AF, if you know what I mean. Like I talk myself out of it every time. Even if I did a video and threw it up there, I wouldn't do another one. And so, yeah. So only since November have I been like, I'm doing this. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to have fun. And, you know, I thought about what can I do at 57 that would give me fulfillment. And the answer is to create. And it's not to create one thing. Like, I'm not going to be a watercolor artist. I'm not going to be an abstract artist. I'm not going to be an acrylic painter or an oil painter or a sculpture, or, you know, I'm going to do all of the things. I'm going to get my hands in all of it. And, you know, so how cool is it to do that? Because that's what I want to do. So I can do that, and I can share that with you from the place of learning to do things myself, and just share the journey of learning to be creative at an older age. Yeah. Because I think a lot of us, meaning older people, get to where we're like, oh, it's too late for me. You know, it's too late for me to do something I love, or it's too late for me to do something I've always wanted to do. And I hope that this channel is going to be inspiring more people to just pick up whatever they want, you know, pick up a brush and go paint something for yourself, you know. Get a glue stick out and put some collage stuff together. Like, it's never too late, right? That's right. It's never too late. And yeah, so that's the way I want to go out, is just making stuff. Try not to say bad words. I do cuss like a lot, so I have to filter myself because I don't think YouTube likes it very much. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know if there is like certain types of art that you could do that maybe wouldn't, or that would be better. I don't know. But let's see. I learned spraying, lace making, and relearned tatting. It's never too late. Yeah. I wonder what spraying is. Can you tell me that? And do you guys mind if I run over there and get a tissue? Because I kind of made myself tear up a little bit, and now I have a runny nose, which I don't have a tissue around me. So I'll be right back. Give me 2 seconds. Don't leave. Okay. Oh, that was funny. I didn't have a tissue to hide, or I would have. I know now, the next time I do a live, make sure I have tissue nearby. But I'd love to know what spraying is. And lace making seems very intricate and requiring a lot of patience, which people have said I have, but I don't know that I'm very intricate. Also, is it Dino? What about acrylic pouring? Like, could you do, and also I've seen where you have a box and you put a paper in it, and then you put marbles and paint, and then you like move the box and make abstract art that way. Also, like printing with nature is something I really want to do. Sprung. Okay. Okay, interlacing. Okay. Wow, that's pretty neat. Yeah, something like that, Michelle. I was thinking that too. It's worth trying and practicing out, you know, seeing if you like it. You know, I think that there might be something out there for you to do if you're shaking. Oh, thank you. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. It's blowing my mind that you guys are here. It feels surreal. You know, you hope that people will be here, and I've gotten to read a lot of your comments on YouTube, and they mean so much to me, but, you know, to see you show up and be here, I feel like there's a real community forming, which is cool. So yeah, my goal is to create a community where we can all encourage each other to keep creating and not let our overthinking or our roadblocks or our imposter syndrome or any of those things stop us. Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it might be hard to embrace the shaking. I haven't experienced that yet, so I don't know how I would feel. But something tells me my tenacity wouldn't let that hold me back. That's a tongue twister. Yeah, true. And a lot of art you can, yeah, neurographic. So I don't know if you saw my neurographic painting, excuse me. Or art or whatever you call it. I can't do Zentangles because of my hand feels like it's cramping and I get really tense with Zentangle doodling. And so even on my neurographic little art thing I did on a video one day, you know, it's definitely not perfect. And I definitely don't have I don't think I could do the intricate lacing thing because it's so like, I don't know if the word is like, I feel tense when I'm doing a Zentangle or stuff like that. Yeah, that's a good idea. But yeah, like we had a little Zentangle group chat last year with some of the nomad friends we have because we're all in different parts of the country. And it was a way to kind of stay in touch. And I'm still in the chat, but I stopped doing Zentangles because after the third or fourth one, I was like, I am not loving this. This is hurting. And the repeated, you know, you do a shape and then do some lines and then do some circles, or it's just repeated things, and it's not my jam at all. I need to be more loose and floppy, messy. So, oh, that might be cool. Yeah, not so tiny, so that it's not so yeah. You guys have some good ideas. This just feels really cool because it feels just like I had in my mind, the community aspect of being on YouTube. I didn't want it to feel like, I guess I should say, I wanted it to feel like this. And so, you know, being new, relatively new in this, it's so cool to feel that way, out the gate, I guess you could say. But yeah, I like that idea of doing a really big version, maybe with a Sharpie or something instead of a pen. I think I was using a really pointed pen like this. I don't think my little Zentangle notebook is around here because I was so irritated with it all. But let's see. Gypsy Scroll. I'm an artist, painting mostly, but can't turn down any medium. I am a disabled caregiver, crafts hoarder, lifelong creator, now lots more health issues, so I'm mostly an observer at this point. Oh. Yeah, I think I remember, yeah, I'm sorry. I watched a video today of Jim Henson making a Muppet out of a paper envelope. And it was right on point with how I feel, I think is just, you know, finding the basic simple things in life and making fun stuff out of it and playing and having fun. You know, he was the ultimate in playing because you could tell he was making this little Muppet out of an envelope, and it was so fun for him. And he was just making the voices and doing the whole thing. And he's just a big kid, you know, and I feel like I didn't have that most of my life. So I feel like I'm getting there now, you know. I'm like a big kid at heart with the play aspect of art. Let's see. Yes, I love that, Michelle. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we guys, we're all on the same page. It's really I don't know if you guys are into like putting things out into the universe and then like seeing things come to fruition that you envisioned in your mind. And I think so much of my younger life, I did that a lot. And I called it Norman Rockwellizing things. So, like on family holidays, I would always Norman Rockwellize it and make it like this Christmas needs to be this like really special time, and we need to make all the things. And it was not Susie Homemaker by any stretch of the imagination, but I just wanted, like, I knew what I wanted everything to be a certain way and everyone to have fun and everyone to be happy. And like when it wasn't that way, which most of the time it's not that way, I would be disappointed. So all that to say is, you know, the past few years, it's been the opposite. Like I have something in my mind and then like it comes to fruition that way. It like is exactly the way that I wanted it. And like seeing you guys talk and being a community is exactly what I was hoping for with this channel, and what I really saw in my mind when I started creating the channel. And so to see it happening, you know, out the gate is out the gate. That's a weird phrase. It's just really inspiring because, well, in general, I'm a happier person now, so I'm not like angsty about making things perfect like I was when I was a young mom. Yeah, Norman was awesome. Yeah. Let's see, when someone asks me what if, I say, try it and see, nothing to lose. Yep. And then I see, Dino, how do you grow in creativity? I think, like, for me, it's just, you know, doing something. Like, even if you don't feel confident in it, trying something out and like pushing yourself to do something creative. It could be like recycling something into something else. It could be patchwork or junk journaling or drawing with markers or crayons. There's a creator I follow that just draws with crayons, and like I can't stop watching, you know, but it's fun for them and you can tell that they're having a great time. So I think growing in creativity is also reading this little book, 10 Things Nobody Told You About Being Creative. This helped me grow in my creativity a lot. So let's see. Hi from England. Have you had another go? I have not. I want to get some pink erasers, but I haven't tried. I have more of these soft guys, and I have the other side. But yeah, I need to do something. I need to work on that and try that again. That was fun. Yeah. Have you guys made have you made a stamp from eraser, Jenny? Do you have any tips? The ones I see that really work better are maybe those pink erasers that are like really small, but I think that'd be good for journal stamping. I paint historical landmarks around here. I'm in South Central Kentucky. Oh, that's cool. Do you like put them on postcards or like just for fun? Yeah, keep it simple when it's small. That's right. I think I was, oh, I also have these cool erasers that my friend picked up at the Dollar Tree. I haven't even opened them yet. But I was thinking, you know, even though it's already a shape, I could maybe make something out of this. And then I think she got me a circle one. Let me see. I haven't looked at them. Yeah, she got me this circle one. So I think I'll try making some stamps out of these guys. They feel hard compared to the jelly ones. Yeah. And yesterday I had some more of the Amazon package, so I covered this book because the cover was falling off. So I got my glue out. I used this Beacon 3-in-1 glue for gluing the bag on the spine, and then I used a glue stick to get it on the front, and then I kind of just folded it off inside here. Let's see. So it's kind of like, you know, just covered, but the cover was falling apart, so this kind of made sense to me and then I can decorate this and, you know, have my own little art on that book. Hi.
Hi.
My husband just got home from work. Let's see, made stamps. Well, I'm going to screenshot that because I won't remember. Pentel high polymer erasers. That sounds fun because I definitely want to do that more. And I think it'd be fun to like stamp on things, like not even just inside, but like on art and stuff. Oh, that sounds fun. I think the last time I was in Kentucky, we were near Owensboro in 2022.
2021 in the van.
Okay.
Van?
Yeah. Yeah. 2021, we were in Kentucky. We actually have about 25 square feet of our stuff stored there. We downsized from a larger bus to a van, and we stored a bunch of our stuff at a friend's place there. So I haven't been to Kentucky since then, but we do need to get over there and get our stuff sometime at some point. Canada, hi. Lake Cumberland nearby. Okay. Yeah, welcome. When you measure your stuff in square feet. Yes, exactly. I do that all the time. I think I've said on the internet that I live in 225 square feet, and then I think I said I lived in 165 square feet. Well, it's closer to 154. I actually did the math with my husband the other day because I'm like, why am I keep making up these numbers that aren't right? Math is not my strong suit. I sucked at it in school, but I did better at it in real life, like, you know, regular real life math. But yeah, math is hard sometimes. But everything here is measured in square feet and how much room it'll take. And, you know, we are watching a YouTube. Isn't that funny? We call YouTube videos shows now. Maybe I'll be a show one day. But we were watching a Scottish couple, and they said they were renovating their kitchen. And they didn't renovate their kitchen. They like took out part of a cabinet or a counter, and they moved that part up higher so that they could fit a freezer there, which is totally cool. I was glad to see it, but it wasn't renovating the kitchen. Like I imagine like renovating the kitchen is taking everything out and then renovating it and then putting everything back in. But it's funny how when you live in a small space, like I renovated this area from an office space to an art space, which is what I did. But in reality, I just added a piece of wood so that I could have a workstation. Okay, Wildflower, have a good lunch. Yeah, thanks for joining. I appreciate it. So I am way happier in my tiny home. We started living this way. Let's see, the kids were going to be out of the house pretty much. And we started thinking about like traveling maybe and what that looked like. And so we started watching YouTube channels on RV living. And this was in 2017 and or 16. And we went to a tiny house festival in Florida, in 2017. And oh, so we were watching YouTube channels about RV living, and a Schoolie, which is a converted school bus, video came up, and we watched that, and we were like, oh, wow, you can customize those, you know. And being like creative, I wanted to customize things. Like an RV is pretty much what it is when you get it. And so we started looking at Schoolie channels, which there wasn't very many at the time. And then we found out that there was a tiny house show coming up in 2017, and we went to that, and there was a tiny little area at the tiny house show that had school buses. And so we found our way over there, and we were hooked. Like, we have to do this. So in 2018, we weren't really ready to do it yet, but we went ahead and got our first bus, and it worked out. The timing was perfect, and we moved into that bus at the end of 2019. It took us 15 months to convert ourselves while we both worked full-time at regular jobs. And we are increasingly happier every year that we live tiny. It feels really, really good. But I think living more simply, like instantly notice that everything kind of has a purpose, and I'm more aware of like turning on the water. I'm more aware of, even though we're plugged in here where we are, when we were more nomadic, moving around a lot, you know, I was very aware of what we were using, because we relied on solar energy, and we relied on a limited amount of water. And so we're kind of gotten lazy here at the campground. My husband's been camp hosting here. In March, it'll be a year, but we wanted to slow down so that I could. It's hard to, I think when you move around a lot, it's hard to be creative or feel like you can start something, because a lot of our time when we were moving around a lot was thinking about where we were going and how we were going to do things when we got there, or, you know, and it was expensive to drive around a lot all over the country. So our plan was to sit still, and we have been sitting still. And during that time, our plan was to grow in things that we loved, and doing more of what we loved, and finding a way to blend the two, like living tiny and living the way that we want to. And so, yeah, it's a long story, but suffice to say, I'm way happier living tiny, and I think I'll always live tiny. Even when we get land, we will have a goal of getting land and building a small cabin, and then using our bus to go on purposeful trips, like making a plan, much like you do in regular life. You know, I'm going to go do this for this amount of time and then come back. So we would still travel, but it would be more planned travel. So you did a full-size Schoolie in the 90s? Wow, that's badass. Yeah. So finding a place to park was always a concern, even in the van. It was so easy to park the van, and people didn't know that we were in there sleeping. But you always risked getting, you know, knocked on or whatever. It's not looked on upon favorably. So it was always like a worry. And I was a goody two shoes growing up, so I was always worried about getting in trouble when we parked somewhere. And so being in the forest has been very good, and being like in an area that is allowing me. So that's something to say, is like putting yourself in a environment where you can be creative, you know, putting yourself in a place where you feel creative, where you want to be creative. And for me, that the forest is it. I mean, I'm an introvert. I don't know if you've picked up on that. I also get overwhelmed with a lot of noises. I get like a sensory overload. And so living in a regular environment and having to be like out in town all the time and socializing a lot and all of those things took a lot of energy. And so when I would go to work and work 9 to 5 as a graphic designer, I was exhausted when I got home. And it was hard to be creative on my own time because of the energy that it took to just exist in a regular environment for me. So this environment has really been conducive to me feeding my soul and feeling more creative, because I'm not exhausting myself on regular social structure that would maybe be in a more normal lifestyle, if that makes sense. But I love that you did the school bus thing, and I bet you, yeah. Do you travel still now, or I can't tell from your icon what that is. Yeah. A lot of people. Like, I love peopling this way. You know, if we were all in a room together, I think it would be fun, but I would definitely get, you know, it would definitely drain me, and I would be okay with that because it would have been so fun. But then I would need like 2 or 3 days to like recharge and regroup and get my thoughts back. Like, what was I thinking 3 days ago? Let me think, you know? So, yeah. But yeah. So yeah, being here has been really helpful, and living this way has been really helpful. I don't think I would even be doing this channel right now if we hadn't changed our lives in such a big way by living tiny. So it's definitely affected us in a big and positive way. So yeah. I thought Winter would make an appearance, but he was on my desk a lot before I started this, and then as soon as I started it, he walked away. But oh yeah, that's right, you're in Kentucky. Anything else? Let's see. Oh yeah. Here are the houseboats in the cove. So I think I live tiny because of my dad, who lived on houseboats, and I always thought that was so magical. We do have bears in the woods. I have not seen a bear with my eyes since last spring, and we'll probably see more bears when it's spring. I don't think it's cold enough for them to hibernate here, from what I'm told. And we're aware of, you know, looking out for them, but my husband has seen a lot more bears than I have because he actually works on the campground, where I, you know, am kind of, other than walking Kinsey, you know, I'm not out and about in the campground as much. Yes. I'm not holding anything against you, Gypsy. I would never do that. I think we're all, like, I'm from Florida, so don't hold that against me. I'm hoping to change my residency. I haven't been to Florida for 2 years, and I'd love to go visit my family that is there, but I don't anticipate owning a house there anymore. But yeah, I think, you know, you can make, at least I think this now, I didn't always think this, but I think you can make any place that you live a dream place, if that makes sense. Like, if you can change the way you feel about a place. Like, I could live in Florida and it could be my dream. It would be a lot more work, because I've lived in Florida for most of my life, so I'm ready to not live in Florida, and I've enjoyed not living in Florida, even though I haven't been near my family. But, you know, when kids grow up, they do their thing and you do your thing, and then you figure it all out. But hi, Carolyn. I love your little hand there. But I love being near water. It's very healing. We have a lake here that I like to, I don't go walk down to the lake as much as I do the actual creek that goes to the lake. that's closer. And with the cold weather, I'm not walking all the way to the lake, even though it's not that far. But I do walk to the creek. And I think every time I'm near running water, it does something magical to me. But it's okay, Carolyn. I think I'll be on for a little longer. I'm glad you're here, and you can always go. This is my first live, so I'm wanted to try it out. You know, the curiosity got the best of me, and I wanted to try it out, and I've enjoyed it a lot. I hope you all have too. It's been super fun, and you know, my husband and I are talking about one day having property, and we'd love to have water on it. That might not be possible because of, you know, the properties with water on them are a lot more expensive. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe my YouTube channel will get monetized, and some other things will happen, and that won't be a big issue. But living this way has definitely helped us, because we don't need a lot to live this way. We can live very minimally. But now that I'm creating a lot, you know, the funds are going to supplies and stuff. So, Long Island, awesome. I love New York. I've never lived in New York, but whenever I visited, it's just like, I've been to upstate and the city, and they're totally different. But I love it all. And I really love traveling to be able to see that. You know, I think there's so many beautiful places that you just don't know until you actually go. Yeah, water does make you feel better. So does a fire. We've been having, well, we haven't lately because it's so cold, but having a, you know, living in this environment, we can have a campfire anytime we want. And we were having them quite a bit. And, you know, if you can't be in your water, if you can sit out by a fire, that's some gold stuff there too. Like, that feels just awesome. So we've been missing being outside with a campfire. And so on the TV, this is a smart TV over here. And I fold it out of the way when I'm working, and it can fold here. And then we put a big, huge fire on the TV on YouTube. And we listen to the crackling, and it does psych us out. It's like we actually have a fireplace, you know, in the bus at that point. Wisconsin. Good night, lovely Americans. Jenny, thanks so much for joining us. Cheers. I hope you have a good night. Southeast Wisconsin. I don't know if that's where I was. One of our first trips in our first schoolie was to Nakusa. Is that southeast?
Yes. No,
Okay.
It's north. It's like north in the middle. It's like in the middle. Upper middle.
Upper middle is where we were. My first time in Wisconsin, and then we went over to Door County, which I loved. Talk about water. It's beautiful there. Well, thank you for sharing my channel. That means a lot to me. Guys, I'm just excited to get to know you better and see what you're up to and encourage each other in creating. It really means, I don't want to cry again. It means a lot. So thank you. Thanks for being here and being so encouraging and, you know, growing with me in creative endeavors. One of my friends last year, when I was being still in the woods, she made this for me. And I wasn't feeling very creative the day that I got this, but it came in the mail. She's one of those friends that sends things in the mail, and I love that. Like, I wish we could have that more, you know. It's more normal. Like, it feels weird to get mail now, but it also feels so wonderful. Lake Superior. Oh, thank you. Oh yeah, I got to the up. Yeah, I went to the UP in our van. I'll tell you about that in a second. She made this card for me, and it's like a little collage. And, you know, I telling her that I really wanted to do art last year, and she sent this to me in the mail. And it has a lot of like creative quotes and things. And I keep it here to inspire me and to help me remember and just feel more free when I look at it. And the fact that she, you know, spent time getting all this together and putting it all together in a card, it inspires me to just create without really judging myself. But yeah. So in 2020, I can't remember all these things. Oh, 2021, we are building out the van for the first part of the year. And our goal was to be done by July so that we could, yeah, it's Happy Meal, so that we could drive to the UP in Michigan and go to an event there. They call it Schoolie UP. And they have it every year. I think it's around July or August. And this was like the first or second event they had. Anyways, we really wanted to go. So we kind of made it important to finish the van enough to be able to live in it. And so we worked from December to June. And we did it. We booked it up to the UP like in 2 days so that we could make it to the event on time. And then we stayed up there for like a month. And we went over to Door County and everything. And the mosquitoes were insane. But I couldn't believe, growing up in Florida and being from the beach area, and I've always loved the beach, but I fell in love with those lakes, man. They are beautiful. They're gorgeous. And it just blew my mind to like look out over a lake and not see the horizon and know that I could be in that lake and there would be no sharks or man-o-wars or things that would hurt me. And like Florida alligators, you know, in the lakes and stuff. And so I was just blown away. Like, we had such a great time there. Yeah, the black flies were bad too. We had a big screen. But yeah, the Schoolie, yeah. So the Schoolie UP is a meeting of the schoolies, but you don't have to have a schoolie. You can have an RV, or like in our case, we had a van. But yeah, just a bunch of people get together. There's a bunch of gatherings like that throughout the country. There's one coming up in February in Florida called Schoolie Swarm. And we've been to that event a couple times. We're not going to go. We're here. But we might go to the Fall Schoolie Swarm, which is in Bainbridge, New York. I think it's called Bainbridge. I don't know if that's right. But something about me is I don't remember details very easily. So I get those things mixed up. But I think it's Bainbridge. But we're hoping to go there maybe in the fall. We'll see. I don't know. A lot of stuff would be, like, we'd have to get time off here and everything. We'll see. But yeah. Yeah, mosquitoes and black flies. So I've noticed here that there aren't very many mosquitoes. And I'm pretty blown away by that because I've always been around mosquitoes. Anywhere there's water, there's mosquitoes. But it doesn't seem like that here. And we've been here since March of last year. But what's from being on the road so much? Carolyn? Oh, you can. You have it too. Okay. Well, I don't know if mine is probably just my personality. I've always been that way. Like even if it's interesting to me, I will lose details, but I can remember the big picture, but not the microscopic details of things. Thanks, Michelle. It was so great to have you on here, and I appreciate you. Yeah. I want good things for everybody. You know, life's too short. I've spent a lot of my years being in my own head and not living my best life. And isn't it time that we do that? Like, we take care of ourselves and make doing things that we love a priority, and not living in a way that we feel like we don't have time, or we don't have energy, or we don't have choices. Yeah. Thank you, honey. Yeah. Well, that would be easy to do, especially, you know, with people. Like, my husband was a realtor, and I can't really say that I was a realtor, even though I got my license in Florida. I kind of did the behind the scenes stuff more, but I did try to be like a regular realtor for a little while, and I couldn't remember anybody's name ever. And that's like a big thing in real estate, is to make sure you know everyone's name. But if I mess you guys' names up, please know that it's not because I don't care. It's because I have a scattered memory. Yeah. Mhm. Well, do you guys have anything else you want to talk about? I don't want to keep you. I know it's getting late. I don't know. Well, I actually don't know if it's getting late because I don't know where everybody is, but some of you it might be getting late. But I'm open to talking or answering questions for a little bit longer if you all want to stay on. I might turn the heater on, so maybe that sound, hopefully that won't bother anybody. It's getting a little chilly in here. I don't think I've, just looking back at the chat here, Violet, I don't think I've been to the Copper Harbor area. But we went all down the west coast of Michigan when we were leaving the UP, and there's so many gorgeous harbor areas and beautiful, like, beaches, and it was really, it's funny because my mom was born in Michigan, and we went there when I was younger for family reunions, but I was bored and never cared about being there, and we didn't go, you know, this was like in the Mitten, Benton Harbor, Berrien Springs area, and so I never really knew that the UP existed until a few years ago, because I didn't have any interest or knowledge about, you know, places that I hadn't been, and I wasn't a big geography buff, so I didn't really know that that was even a thing. I just couldn't believe it. My husband and I both couldn't believe how beautiful it is up there. But yeah. Oh, I'm sorry you have the flu. I hope you feel better. Get some rest. I hope to catch up with you guys too. I don't know when I'll do another live. I want to do another one, and I have to figure out the timing. Was this a good time for you guys? Like 4:30 or 5 p.m. Eastern? I might do it a couple times a week. Let's see. And let me know if this is a good time for everybody. It feels like, but I don't know if it's just because of the day. Carolyn, how long have you been living on the road? Yep. We moved in December of 2019. And then we all know what happened in February of 2020. And we were trying to stay local during that time, but we ended up getting, well, everyone ended up getting kicked out of the campgrounds they were in. So we relocated to the center of the state and stayed at a friend's property for a few months. And then when we felt like it was safe, we booked it up to Wisconsin to a cabin, another friend's property. And even though they had a cabin, we stayed in our schoolie and they stayed in the cabin. And we stayed there for 2 months, drove out to Colorado and stayed there for 2 months, and then bought a van and drove back to Florida and stayed at a friend's house after we made sure that we were safe, because there was an older friend that needed to make sure we didn't have any, you know, that we had vaccinations and everything. So we made sure we were safe before we started building out our van in 2021. So 2020 was kind of a weird travel year because of the thing. I don't know if I could say the word on here. I don't know. Everyone blocks it out, so I don't know if I can even say the word of what happened. But we all know what happened in 2020, so I don't even need to say it. But yeah, yeah. Please, if you, yeah, catch the replay. Yeah, 2020. I appreciate you coming, Gypsy Girl. I hope you have a good night. But yeah, I don't have any desire to go back to that. That wasn't fun at all, was it? And my anxiety was through the roof during that time. There's no way I was going to be creative during that time. It's like a formula to be creative is limit your anxiety somehow. Which, you know, ultimately Living Tiny has contributed to me being a healthier version of myself. But, all right, you guys, I'm gonna go figure out what Don and I are gonna have for dinner. We're gonna collab on that. And I'm definitely gonna go live again. This has been a lot of fun. So I will figure that out, but I think it's gonna be a couple times a week. Probably on my non-posting days. Thank you for the chat, Carolyn. I appreciate you guys. And if you have any other questions, feel free to hit me up. I'm happy to get to know y'all better. So y'all have a great evening. Cheers. We'll see you on the next one. Bye. I don't know how to end it. Let's see. Click this X maybe. Okay, guys. Kind of don't want to hang up. It's like that. It's like when you're in a new relationship. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up first. All right. Bye.